Welcome to another rendition of Math is Easy, step by step. So I have a type of word problem. This word problem is going to incorporate a data graph, a diagram below with a bunch of data and information you're going to have to interpret, right? So you got to interpret graphs, part of some of these standardized assessments. I'm going to go over that in answering the question after I read. We will evaluate some of the data on the diagram here below. So I'm just going to dive on right on in here to it. And one of the things when you're being asked to find mean, median, and mode, which in a moment I'm going to explain to you is the goal here, the three questions that are being asked, you have three fill in the blank answers or questions, answers where you got to put into the blank. And so anytime you are working on finding the mean, median, and mode, you're working with data numbers, okay? Data numbers. And so you need to be able to evaluate in this case, the diagram below in order to come up with those values. Then once you do that, you got to be able to understand how to find the mean, median, and the mode. All right, so let's just get on in here to it. The soccer team in a season scores 15 goals. So in a whole season, soccer team scores 15 goals. In a 10-game season. So 15 goals in 10 games. As shown on a diagram below. So here's the diagram below. I'm going to go over the diagram and then I'll go get into some of the questions. All right. Let me raise this up just a little bit here. All right. So starting here in the left corner is 0. 0 games, 0 goals, right? But as we move along, let's say the x-axis, right? If we were to draw this on an xy coordinate plane, you have values of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way to 10. That represents number of games played in a season. So you can see here from game 1 to game 10. All right, let's go up the y-axis if you would. And that represents goals scored. Okay, goals scored. Now, if you're having a hard time reading this side, let's say y axis, right? If you're on an x and y coordinate plane, you're having a hard time seeing this here. You can always turn your page if you're taking a paper-based assessment, right? And you can see it here, goals scored. But if you're taking a standardized assessment electronically, it's going to be a little bit difficult to turn your computer screen. And so you just got to do your best, maybe turn your head and try to read that. So here we have goals scored. So remember, each of these below here on the x-axis represents the number of games played. First game, second game, third game, all the way up to the 10th game. So going up the y-axis here, goals scored. In the first game, one goal was scored in the first game. And then in the first game, another goal was scored. So 2 goals were scored in that first game, right? So 2 goals in the first game. And if we look over here, you can see the second game, we don't have any goals scored, which is pretty typical in a soccer match. It's very typical, in fact. And here we go in game 3. How many goals were scored? 1. There's 1 goal in game 3. In game 4, we have no goals. In game 5, you can see here there was 1, 2, 3 goals scored in game 5. Game 6, we have 1, 2 goals. 2 goals were scored in game 6. Game 7, there was 1 goal. Game 8, 1 goal. Game 9, 1 goal. And game 10, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 goals was scored in game number 10. All right, so you got to analyze that data, and in the next few videos, I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, how to do that. So just remember, there was a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 goals scored in 10 games. And that was stated above as well. So we're going to need to know that information in just a little bit. But right now, I'm going to finish off by going over the 3 questions that you have. Again, each of these questions, there's a blank space where you're going to enter in your answers. All right. So, first one, what was the average goal or goals scored per game during the season? Right? Put your answer here. Round to the 10th place. So, you're going to need to understand those 10th place values. Please check out my videos. I've already made a few videos on the different place values. I've also made videos on how to convert fractions into decimals. I go over the 10th place there. They will be extremely helpful if you do not know that information already. Question number 2, the modal score of goals during the season, right? What was the modal score of goals, right? You're going to put that answer right here in the blank. And then final question, what was the median number of games played? Well, I know there's 10 games. I know there was 15 goals, right? And I know each game how many goals were made. Let me lower that down here a little bit. Each goal, how many goals were made in each game played. Right, so that's the information I have. In the next couple parts of the videos, I'm going to show you how to organize your data and how to answer and find the mean, which is the average, the median, and the mode, which is the modal discussed here. Math is easy. Take it step by step. Thank you for joining me. Stick around for parts 2, 3, and part 4 in answering these 3 questions. Thanks again for your stars, your donations, your time, your gifts. Greatly appreciated. Thank you.